is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That is a song called The Fall from a new band called As Lions. The name of their album is Selfish Age. And on the line right now, we have the vocalist of the band As Lions. It is Austin Dickinson. Austin, how are you, man?
I'm very good, mate. Very good. Currently hurtling through Louisiana at the speed of light to get to Alabama. But absolutely hunky-dory, mate. Very well, thank you.
Well, that's great, man. Well, dude, I got to start off by just telling you, man, as probably you are getting from everybody, because of your heritage, people come into this record with an expectation that doesn't fit the band at all. But once you get past that and actually judge the music, this is a kick-ass record, man. So nice work.
Thank you very much. Well, we'd like to think so ourselves. I think that obviously the tag happens sometimes, but you know what? It's one of those things. We just kind of have fun breaking off those shackles and completely overwhelming people's expectation of some sort of Maiden ripoff, which by no means we are, which is kind of cool. So happy to surprise everyone.
Excellent, man. Well, dude, maybe a good place to start for people that are new to the band is maybe start with a brief history of the band, how you got together and how you got out there and, that kind of stuff.
Well, we got together around about 2014. We started writing for it, and then we sort of launched the band in 2015. And it started with myself, Will, and Connor, basically off the back of our last band, Rise to Remain. Once that band ended, we were not under any impression that we were going to be slowing down, so we just got straight into writing. Once we had a couple of songs down, we started putting out the feelers for Rhythm Section, and we got Steph and Dave through Connor. And ever since then, we've just kind of been doing our thing. As you said, Selfish Age is out now. And yeah, we've been just absolutely crushing shows out here, so it's been a lot of fun.
Excellent. Now, from listening to the record, it's very obvious that it takes a really hard look at, the society that we're in today. And it really seems to take a good look from, from your generation coming into the society that was kind of left for you. At least that's my interpretation of it. As an outsider looking in, it almost seems like you're frustrated with it. Is that at all true, or am I trying to read too much into this?
Absolutely. I think that, as well, what we wanted to do is create an album that, had relevant lyrical content that people could sink their teeth into, but also one that I find that, we're in such reactive, sort of visceral times that in some ways it kind of seems wrong to drench everything in politics, but I do think that you can still speak to the way that people feel and the frustration and the anger and the sort of bitterness, for lack of a better word, without kind of going into specifics. So that's kind of what I try to do. Because I think at least that way you give people the opportunity to sort of have it tell a bit of their own story as well, to sort of put themselves in the shoes of the song. And that's kind of what my favorite bands have always done for me. So that's kind of me just kind of trying to pass on that sort of ode, so to speak.
Sure. Now talk about the song Aftermath, which is probably my favorite song on the record. It really seems to have like that message of hope, but it's held back by like the reality that you're looking at. Is that kind of how you saw it?
Yeah, I think that it's one of these funny things where we find ourselves continually caught up in the aftermath. Just as a Western culture, we have all of these awful, terrible things happening far too late, and the song is kind of about taking the preventative steps and also in the same time sort of maybe trying to accept the things that are going on and admit that they are happening and move forward, so that's kind of that was sort of the message of Aftermath, being caught in disaster and finding your way out of it. And again, at the same time, I wanted that sort of speak to people perhaps on a personal level, and also on a global level, depending on where you as a listener want to take it. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm really glad you enjoyed the song.
Sure. Well, no secret, for people that don't know, your last name is Dickinson, and that is rock royalty, at least for our show. That is as royalty as it gets. And certainly your dad has had mega success in the industry. With that said, How did you seeing that right in front of you as you grew up and started your own bands and, developed into a musician? How did seeing that help you maybe avoid some mistakes that a lot of new bands have?
To be honest, mate, when I was a kid, he wasn't even in Iron Maiden. He wasn't. He was doing a solo thing. He was more of a sort of someone that flew planes for a hobby.
Okay.
And that is the truth. Growing up, it was very, very normal, very, very down to earth. And I think that by the time that he was back into it, I had already been hitting dumpsters with drumsticks, and I had always been kind of getting into playing music, just from being around it, but also from having an abundance of it around the house, in the form of all the Deep Purple vinyls and all of the Led Zeppelin records and the Black Sabbath records that we had. So, I think that I kind of found music much in the way that everybody else does, and that is kind of through your parents' record collection.
Right.
And through radio as well. So, as far as advice as well, have a good time, give them what they want, don't fuck up.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Sure. Does he stay out of it? And I don't want to turn this into an interview about your dad, but I'm just curious. Does he stay out of it and let you as a man do your thing?
Absolutely. I think that's the only way to do things. That's the only way that we create anything of any value, and it's the only way that we learn meaning and have clarity over our decisions.
Sure. Definitely, man. Well, listening to the record, listening to Selfish Age, which, like I said at the beginning, great record, it has a sound that a lot of it sounds like it would fit on what is considered, quote unquote, active rock today. What do you think it will take for you guys to break through into active rock in into more heavier rotation?
Well, I think that, to be honest, it's a case of getting the band and putting it in front of people. I really do. I think that, we give every single show our all, regardless of whether we're opening a show at Doors and they've opened 15 minutes before we hit stage and people are trickling in, we will still deliver the same performance that we would at a sold-out arena show. And that's just who we are, and that's just what we do. And the great thing about being on tours like this and tours that we've done previously is that we get to go out and be in front of an ever-increasing, ever-diverse amount of people and be who we are. And I think that people respond to that kind of thing. They respond to that kind of attitude because they want to have a good time too. They want to let loose. They want to have a beer. They want to listen to some fucking rock and roll.
Right.
That's exactly our kind of thing. That's what we want to do too. So.
Sure.
I think that's going to be the secret.
Sure. And it does seem, even from the press releases and stuff, it seems like that the studio is one thing and you did the studio, but from everything I read, it really seems like that is where you guys collectively are most comfortable, is in the live setting. Is that true?
Oh, in a lot of ways, yeah. I think that, I love the creative process of being in the studio. I think that, it's almost like two different kinds of catharsis, like the studio, you build and build and build and build and build and, chop and change a couple of things because you're caught up absolutely in the song. And then finally, when it's done, a couple of weeks later, you feel that, oh my God, yes, that is it. That is exactly it. Whereas live, you are on a constant burn of that for half an hour to 2 hours straight of, yes, this is it. So, they're both equally awesome to us, but I absolutely love playing live. I think we all do. That's definitely our first home.
Excellent. Now you're out on tour right now. How long is this tour, and then what follows? Do you have other touring plans, or is it still coming together, or what does it look like for the rest of the year?
Well, a combination of the two, really. We finished this tour up late May, and then we go back and we start doing Euro festivals, and basically we've got a couple of things to announce. after those.
Okay.
And those will hopefully be coming sooner rather than later. I actually think that we're getting quite close to the announced date for those. So yeah, no, it's all looking great, and we're just going to be as busy as possible, and we're going to be bringing it to the masses, man. It's going to be awesome.
Excellent. Well, the name of the album is Selfish Age. The band is As Lions. And Austin, where can people go online or, on Facebook or wherever, Twitter, to find out more about the band and where you're going to be and buy the music and all that stuff?
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram's all As Lions Band, so you can check us out there. Our personal socials as well. It's most of the time mine is Austin_As Lions. You can basically search us, Will Homer, Connor O'Keefe, Steph Whiting, and Dave Fee. You'll be able to find all of us on socials.
Okay.
And yeah, just thank you so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Well, dude, as a tradition on the show, what we do is we always let the artist pick a closing track from the album. Maybe tell us a quick story about it. We played The Fall to start this one, so what would you like to wrap this up?
You know what? I'd say that this is one of my favorite ones, possibly my favorite one we've got. And it was probably just the most sort of natural come together that we've had so far in a song. We did it in my front room pretty much. And yeah, it's got all the violins you could possibly want the song. So here we go. This is World on Fire.
All right, well, let's check it out right now. It's World on Fire by As Lions right here on your Classic Metal Show.